Do you ever feel like you're working endless hours, giving your best, but still not getting the recognition that you deserve? Or maybe you're drowning in the never ending tasks from your managers, from your leaders, with no clear direction. If you've answered yes to any of these, then you're not alone. You or we work in a very demanding work environment today and mostly face these three challenges that can limit our career growth, can cause stress to us, and hold you back. So what are these three challenges? One is lack of recognition. Your efforts, they go unnoticed by your managers, and it feels like no one values your work. Next is unstoppable increasing workloads. You're expected to do more with less, leaving you very stressed out, or you get that feeling of burnout that I can't breathe, I need fresh air, I need some time for myself. And lastly, communication gaps. Misunderstandings and unclear expectations can make your working with others very, very frustrating. Don't worry, but here's the good news. You can take control of these challenges. Now, how do you do that? Let me share with you some very simple and effective ways to turn things around. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, You with Sonia, and we are on Thinking Thursdays. So grab your cups of coffee, and yes, if you want to take down some notes, you can probably take a notepad or a pen or pencil and just be ready. We're getting started now. But before we start, I hope you have subscribed to my channel, and if not, please hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell if you don't want to miss out on my new episodes, which come every Thursday evening between 7:30 to 8:30. My new episode is out. Let's get started with today's episode. Now, challenge number one, which I mentioned about, which is lack of recognition. Imagine this. You spend weeks working on a particular project, meeting tight deadlines and delivering beyond expectations. Yet, when the results are shared, your name is nowhere to be mentioned. Sounds familiar? I think we've all gone through that stage. Feeling unseen and undervalued can often lead to our decreased motivation. We no longer feel motivated to come to work or work on any particular project that is given to us. Our engagement with our colleagues, our engagement with our work also takes a backseat, and we start hating everything around our work. Employees need to know that their contributions are valued and that their hard work is recognized, which can be a significant motivator. But often we find that, this does not happen, and that leads to a lot of backlash, and that leads to a lot of stress and burnout. And the good employees often either leave the organizations or they start underperforming. Before I give you some tips and strategies to improve this, let me tell you why this is happening. Basis my experience of having worked close to 3 decades in the corporate world, managers are either too busy to acknowledge individual contributions, or your work is impactful but happens behind the scenes, right? Or there is a culture where only the big wins are celebrated. Now, there are more reasons too, but I thought maybe these are three very, very common reasons why it is happening. Now, how do you fix it? I think I talk a lot about this in most of my previous videos also. I've spoken a lot about this. First, what you need to start doing is document your achievements, or create a wins folder in your laptop or desktop or whatever platform that is given by the company, where you can track your successes. Big or small, doesn't matter. When the appraisal time comes, you'll have proof of your impact that you've created. For example, if you are a social media manager, so you can start keeping track of the campaign successes, and you can even make a portfolio of some case studies. And when the time of performance review comes, you can share this report and make your contributions known to the right people. So it's very, very important. Start documenting your wins, whatever impact that you're making. And so in your laptop, when you create that folder, which is your wins folder, it gives you that good feeling too. And you would like to probably check every month, have I added something in this folder or not? So it's for your own good that please create. So today, by the end of this video, I think each one of you should create that wins folder in your laptop or desktop. Next, I think you need to start speaking about your contributions. Don't wait for appreciation. Start highlighting your achievements in every team meeting or share progress reports. So, when you're part of any team meeting, subtly you can highlight the role that you have played in making that project a success or in any of the key projects that you're handling, right? So, for example, you could say that I analyzed the market trends that shaped our final strategy, which helped in increasing the customer engagement by say 20% or 30%. So, whatever your data numbers are saying. So, here what you're saying is you're also stating that you have also contributed remarkably in that project success. So, you also need to be acknowledged for it. And next, you need to start building some strong relationships at work. Start engaging with leaders and colleagues beyond your work also. So when people get to know you, they are more likely to notice your contributions. So start networking within the organization. Let me give you an example. If you are a finance associate and you start sharing some weekly financial insights with the leadership team, soon your emails will be read and acknowledged by those leaders, and you will be recognized for your initiative from either the CFO or from the head of the department. And that will give you the encouragement that what you're doing is right. And you're not just wasting time in sharing some data or sharing some insights. And that will make others also realize that how seriously you take your work. And if any furthermore responsibilities with a promotion or with some resources need to be given, then they know that you are also one of those people that they should consider. And lastly, how to fix this is to seek for some direct feedback from your colleagues, your leaders, or other people in the company. So if you're very unsure whether your work is being valued, then start asking for feedback from your manager. So you could say that, how do you see my contributions impacting the team's success? Or how do you see my contributions have impacted the project, reaching a particular stage? So this not only will give you clarity, but will also put your work in their mind. Let me give you another example. If you are, say, a digital marketing executive and you feel very invisible at work, so soon you start sharing some key insights in meetings and start sending some summary emails highlighting the campaign results. Within few months, your boss will personally recognize your contributions. And if not your boss, then some other senior leader will do this. So don't ever give up. I'm sure with this, you'll be able to get over that challenge of lack of recognition. Moving on to challenge number 2, which is never ending increasing workload onto our workstation, into our portfolio, which is making us very stressed out. Have you ever opened your inbox in the morning and only to find some 30 unread emails? Well, 30 is a very underrated number. 30 would be like okay number. I have seen that, when you come back from your weekend, like if Saturday, Sunday is a holiday and Monday you open your laptop, your inbox will have nothing less than about over 100 emails. And you'll have some 10 urgent tasks to be handled. And there'll be some 2-3 back-to-back meetings that you have to attend to. And by afternoon, your productivity will start dropping and you barely can make it through the day. Being burdened with too many tasks and responsibilities, of course, can lead to a lot of stress and burnout, but will also lead to your productivity taking a hit. And that will have a very negative impact on your well-being. I would say for the companies also, it's very crucial for you to take care of your employees and ensure that your employees have the time and the resources to complete their projects or their tasks effectively. Before I get into how do you fix this problem or fix this challenge, first let's look at why it is happening. Now, companies are expecting employees to multitask beyond their capacity. That is one reason which I've seen. happening in mostly all the companies, right? There is no clear prioritization. Everything is urgent, everything is important, everything needs to be completed by the weekend or by tomorrow. So there is no like clear prioritization given that, okay, fine, these two tasks are very important, please finish it, or only this task need to be completed by end of the day, rest all, you can take 2 3 days. So there is no clear prioritization given to you because they feel everything is important, and when everything is important, then nothing gets finished. And most of the time employees also hesitate to push back because they feel that they will look as very incapable, or they feel that they'll not get the promotion that is due, or they feel that what if I lose my job and my manager thinks that I'm pushing back, I don't want to take the responsibility. So because of all these reasons, we're not able to speak up. Now, how do you fix this challenge? Start prioritizing very smartly. You can use a Eisenhower matrix, which I truly believe in. I use it every day in my life as well. So focus on the tasks that are very important and urgent first, and delegate the others or schedule others accordingly. For example, if you apply this urgent versus important rule and you start delegating some of the not very important, say, admin work, this would allow you to focus on your more strategic decisions. With this, I think setting your boundaries and learning to say no is very, very important. Taking on too much affects your performance. Politely, you need to push back or delegate where possible, and politely push back on even the unrealistic deadlines too. Let me give you an example. So for any last minute tasks that are assigned to you, you could respond by saying, I can take this up next week, but if it's really urgent, I can shift my priorities. Let me know what works best for you. Or you can say that I can complete task A by Friday and task B by Wednesday. Would you like me to reprioritize, or what would you like me to do? Now, this will set boundaries without sounding very negative. Moving on, you also need to use technology to your advantage so that you're not just working hard, but you're also working smart. For your repetitive tasks, you could use technologies, you could use some productivity tools that are available, or you could reach out to your IT department also to say that, these are my repetitive tasks. Is there a way that I can, use some AI platform or some technology tool that you can give me, like Trello or Notion or Asana? These are some of the tools that I've used, so I'm just naming it. But depending on what are your repetitive tasks, seek out for help from other people who can guide you, and that would actually take away your most of the time that you're spending in doing things that you have to do it again and again and again, right? So use technology to your advantage. And with this, to improve your productivity, you need to start taking some small breaks in between work. Research has shown that stepping away for even 5 minutes can increase your focus and efficiency. Now, when I say stepping away for 5 minutes, I mean 5 minutes. It can't be like 5 minutes become 15 minutes, then 30 minutes, then 40 minutes. Then you're going to actually reduce your productivity. See, when you're too much focused into it and, your brain is tired, your hands are tired, typing, your fingers are tired, your legs, they want to get up and stretch. So this 5 minutes break, when you take a cup of coffee and go out, walk a little. Don't let your mind go here and there. Don't go to another person's table and start talking, because you need to take only a 5-minute break. So just step out of the office, just walk around with your cup of tea, and just think something else apart from work. Think anything else, because after 5 minutes, when you come back, your mind would have rested, your eyes would have got that little break, your fingers would have come back to that energy level. So please step away from work every now and then for 5 minutes to help you increase your focus and your efficiency. And here I would also like to say that you can use some time blocking techniques also. For example, if you block, say, 2-hour slots in your calendar for some very deep work, some complicated work that you need to do, and you mute your notifications also, then within a month you will see that your productivity has improved by 25 to 30%. So if you you find yourself drowning in emails and team requests, start using 2-minute rule. So if something takes less than 2 minutes for you to finish, then do it immediately. Otherwise, schedule it in your calendar. This simple habit will cut down your stress levels by half. Trust me. I'm sure with this, your challenge number 2 is well taken care of. I've already shared how you can fix it. Now let's move on to challenge number 3, which is communication gaps. Have you ever had a project go completely off track because of maybe an email which was misunderstood or because of very unclear instructions? Well, miscommunication can lead to not just delays, but also conflicts and missed opportunities. A lack of clear and open communication can often lead to these misunderstandings, missed deadlines, and conflicts within the company. Now, before I get into how do you fix this, let's look at why it happens. Now, if you're communicating via emails, which most of the time we do that, we are communicating with each other on emails. Now, important details, they get lost in long email chains, or the email itself is so long that you tend to miss out on some important information. Now, the other could be that different team members have different communication styles, so you're not able to understand. And lastly, we start assuming things. So assumption replaces clarity, which of course will lead to some mistakes that you could have avoided if you would have taken clarity from the concerned person. Let's look at how do we fix this problem of communication gaps. First and foremost, don't assume, always confirm. Before starting a task, ask, just to be clear, do you want the final report by Friday with analysis or only the raw data you need? Or do you need a full strategy document or just a one-page summary? Now, this will reduce your misalignment that is happening. So always seek for clarity, always confirm, and never assume. Next is choose the right communication medium. Not every issue needs an email, right? Not little bit, you can just walk up and talk to the other person. The other person is sitting right next to you or is sitting like just 10 steps away from you, but you will prefer sending an email to the person. Of course, you should maintain records, but if you're sending an email, no harm in just quickly calling the other person or having a face-to-face discussion, and then you send an email. Once you've spoken to the other person, you can tell him that, okay, fine, what we've discussed, I'm going to just share it with you on an email also. So get into a face-to-face kind of a conversation, or just pick up, if the person is not in the office, just pick up the phone and talk to the other person, because this will prevent back and forth alignment, back and forth, the confusion that is building up. And I'm sure that you all have, official WhatsApp groups where, you're part of just your department's WhatsApp group, and also you're part of a larger WhatsApp group given by the company. So for all urgent updates, I would recommend move from email to WhatsApp groups, as this will lead to faster issue resolution. And of course, after this, you can even send an email, but at least you've got the resolution and you can use that as a context to write an email, which of course is there for your record keeping. To improve your communication gap, you need to be an active listener. Pay attention, repeat some of the key points for your clarity and for the clarity of the other person, and summarize at the end of the meeting to ensure that everyone in the room is aligned to what was discussed or what was the agenda or what is the outcome of that meeting. For example, your leader comes up to and says that, we need to improve our client presentations. I've noticed that some of the data is not very clear and we're losing engagement. What do you think about it? Now, if you're a poor listener, you'll say, okay, I got it. Now, what is happening here is there is no engagement. There is no follow-up questions you've asked to seek for some clarity. And it's a very passive response to say that, okay, sir, I got it. Now, what will be the active listener's response in this? The person will use paraphrases to confirm what the person has understood. So you feel the data presentation needs to be very clear and needs to be more engaging for clients. Am I right? And then you can also ask for some specifics, like, could you share an example of where we lost engagement? Was it the structure or the way the data was visualized by the client? And here you can also provide a very thoughtful response. Maybe we could use more visuals or break down the data into key insights instead of just raw numbers. Would that align with your expectations? Now, here what you're doing is you are showing that you're attentive, you're willing to improve, and you're encouraging a very two-way conversation with your manager or with your team leader. And this will align expectations and will help you contribute in a more meaningful manner. So always remember, active listening is not just about hearing from one ear goes out from the other ear, but it's also about engaging, understanding, and responding very, very effectively. Lastly, one more point that I would want to add here is, which will help you in handling your communication gaps, is use bullet point in emails. Because we are communicating most of the time on emails, a clear structured email is easy to understand than very long paragraphs. And also here, your subject line needs to be very, very to the point, short, and person should understand from the subject line what is the email all about. So switch from long paragraphs to being very to the point, to being concise and writing shorter emails. Use very structured bullet points to highlight what is the main area of focus in your email or in the reports that you would like them to read, whosoever is the receiver of your mail, and make the information very easy to digest for the readers. For example, if you notice deals are getting delayed because emails were being misunderstood, start using bullet point summaries in your emails and improve your subject line. And I'm sure with time, the response time from your clients will surely improve. So here the tip would be, use the right channels, whether it is email, calls, WhatsApp, meetings. Choosing the right communication platform can prevent confusion. Like I said, summarize. Let me also summarize the key takeaway here. Workplace challenges are not roadblocks. They're the opportunities for you to grow. When you take charge of your recognition, manage your workload very effectively, and you start improving your communication, you will reduce your stress, you will improve your productivity, and you will gain the respect that you deserve. These workplace challenges, lack of recognition, increasing workloads, and communication gaps are very, very common, but they don't have to hold you back. By taking these proactive steps that I've just shared with you, you can get what you deserve in your workplace. So acknowledge your wins. Don't wait for recognition. Take charge of your narrative. Work smarter, not just harder. So prioritize, set boundaries, and leverage technology. And lastly, communicate effectively. Clarity leads to efficiency, better teamwork, and fewer mistakes. So which of these challenges do you relate to the most? Drop a comment below, as I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more career success strategies and career growth tips. If you want to handle the chaos at your workplace, my book, Career Chaos and Coffee Stains, is available on Amazon. I'm sharing the link below as well. Do grab your copy and tell me, how did you find this book? So with that, we come to the end of our episode. I really hope that you found this episode very useful. Have a great day, everyone, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.